What's up, boys and girls? I'm J-Rick. Welcome to the Nerd House, where sci-fi, fantasy, anime, comics, and video games all meet under one roof. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe to keep up with all of the video content that I will be coming out with, including WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 GM mode, episode, I believe, 8 it is, which is what this is. Now, for those of you that have been following me, I know you'll notice the name change from the Omega Gamer channel to this. It is because I have actually opened my own small business where I sell anime and comic book and video game goods and so on and so forth. And I am in the process of building the website for that, so there will be a link for that in the upcoming videos, most likely. Now, on to what happened in the last episode of SmackDown vs. Raw. There is a fan change. Raw won 275,000 fans. But this is because they had their pay-per-view, Vengeance, the only match of note, and it wasn't even a special match, it was a normal singles match. Rey Mysterio versus Shawn Michaels in the main event for the WWE Championship, and Rey Mysterio came up the WWE Champion. Alright, then, it was only a 3-star pay-per-view. By the way, it wasn't a very good pay-per-view, so 275,000 fans. I mean, there's still 515,000 fans down from me because I've been winning the fans quite a bit. I haven't lost very much. And as for what's been going on SmackDowns, we have 4 SmackDowns before the Great American Bash pay-per-view. So we're going to try to get to the SmackDown right before the Great American Bash, or possibly the SmackDown right, or possibly past that SmackDown, and hopefully the next episode will contain the Great American Bash. So we had, let's go back to our SmackDown results. 3 stars. We had 3 stars just on a normal regular show, and that was their pay-per-view. Alright, so we had Kane versus Chris Masters, and they are 1-1 right now. Chris Masters and Kane have both got a victory over each other. So, there's with Chris Masters picking up victory over Kane in his first week to solidify his stay on the main show here. And then Kane picking up a win the following week, which was this one. Alright, then we go on to this match right here, and it was a contract match to decide who gets to fight the next United States Champion after the Great American Bash. Eddie Guerrero won. He had some, I wouldn't even call it help. Chavo's face involvement, because this week, this Friday Night SmackDown, we are turning him face. So he had some face involvement with Chavo Guerrero. So I think we're gonna see a face turn from old Eddie Guerrero. Carlito being the complete heel in this situation. Eddie Guerrero picking up the match for the #1 contenders contract for the next United States Champion. I don't think Eddie Guerrero will be featured on this Friday Night SmackDown. I think I'm going to give him the week off. Make it look like he's contemplating his face change, so that way it's more organic when he comes back the following Friday Night SmackDown with the face change. With Chavo giving him some inspirationals there with everything he's been going through with Cruiserweight Champion Gregory Helms. Carlito falling farther down on the card, unfortunately. So, and I've looked on it, and we have so many heels on my roster, it is ridiculous. The heels greatly outweigh the face superstars right now. So, Chavo's definitely going face to fit the narrative, Chavo versus Gregory, that it's been going on for pretty much almost since the start of the Friday Night SmackDown series. And, Eddie Guerrero, he's going to go face because we need more faces, and because I feel like it would fit the narrative at this point, especially with Chavo's involvement in this match. Alright, skip over that match right fast. Then we have Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro finally picking up a win over one half of the tag champions, Gregory Helms, they've been on a losing streak for the last 3 or 4 weeks. They beat the tag team champions legitimately, in a tag team match the first time around in their first match against them to earn the title shot, and then they've lost against every opponent since then. So it's really good to finally see, especially Matt Hardy, because Matt Hardy's not even in the Power 15, even with this victory. So they're really trying to scratch and claw their way into this tag team championship match. Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin being the obvious heels, they have quite the backstory behind them already, as do Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro. So if you want to see the full take on what's actually going on in this storyline that's been building for quite a while, you'll have to go back and watch the previous episodes. But it's definitely a tale to spin. Then we have this Fatal 4-Way. Now, I picked up Rob Van Dam 4 weeks ago from Raw. He started off this series of episodes as the WWE Champion. He was Raw's first WWE Champion after our Superstar Shakeup, after our draft, or whatever you want to call it. The very first one. And then he fell to the wayside, and they stopped using him for whatever reason, the way they should have. So then I picked him up. It was a great trade. You'll have to go back and watch episode 6, I believe it is, if you want to see how that went down. And he has been on he has won 4 straight matches in a row, guys. 4 straight matches in a row. He is definitely on his way to a possible World Heavyweight Championship match. RVD is organically pushing himself. I haven't been helping him any. He has been picking up these victories all on his own. He has been doing fantastic, and I'm glad to see it. He's really been pulling his weight around here on SmackDown since he got over here. So I'm really happy about that. And then we have The Undertaker finally picking up a win over JBL. They haven't really been fighting in fair match format the last couple weeks, so JBL has been picking up those W's over The Undertaker. The match before this was a backstage brawl where they just ran into each other and just whipped the hell out of each other. And, of course, JBL managed to get the one-up on Undertaker by using those dirty heel tactics. There's quite the story behind JBL, too. You'll also have to go back and watch the previous episodes for that. His face, he started as a face, and he gradually turned into a heel over a beautiful process. And The Undertaker finally gets his hands on him in a normal match, and finally gets the one-up on old JBL, our United States Champion. And this will be the United States Championship match headed into the Great American Bash. Then we have, for the finale, the main event, Triple H stealing the World Heavyweight Championship from Batista. Now, these two have been going at it. Triple H legitimately won his #1 contendership opportunity. You'll have to go back and watch the Judgment Day Part 2 if you want to see that. Triple H legitimately picks up a #1 contendership to go up against Batista. Then he loses 2 straight singles matches to Batista. So he's 0-2 against Batista in singles matches. He beats him one time in a tag match, by dirty means, I'm sure. Then he cheats him all the way. By the way, this was one hell of a match. If you haven't watched the last episode, you need to go back and watch the last episode, because this was one hell of a match. Triple H and Batista took it to each other. It was fantastic, in my opinion. It was obviously Dave Meltzer, and the game agrees, because it's a 4-star match. Just a single World Heavyweight Championship match. The title changes hands on a normal Friday Night SmackDown. In this time era, well, even today, really, you don't really see major championships changing hands like that on a normal show like this, on a normal weekly program. So that was a nice little surprise. Triple H needed the win, and Batista really took it to him. So you have to believe that the only reason Triple H won was because he cheated the whole match. If it weren't for that, Batista probably would have gotten over on Triple H one more time. But as it stands right now, Triple H is, in fact, our new World Heavyweight Champion. Alright, so now that everybody's caught up on everything, we are going to start making our matches. Alright, so we're going to go match 1, and it's going to be Kane and Chris Masters to continue their little side rivalry. Technically, I don't have a rivalry set up for that, but it's a little just bonus rivalry for us. And I keep bumping my stand there on accident. I guess I'm a little too close to it, but alright, so match 2 will be our tag team match between Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro, which is our face stable. They're our face staple, and then we've got Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, which is our heels and tag team champions. And we're going to feature them in a normal tag match this week, since they've been in singles competition the last couple of weeks. Then we're going to feature here a dirty clean turn for Chavo Guerrero, since he's starting to look on the up. And we'll do a single with manager here, and we'll put Chavo against Gregory Helms in normal singles competition with, of course, his partner in crime, Shelton Benjamin, over there in the corner. Match 4, we will see, I think it's John Cena versus Randy Orton. We'll have an advertising promo here because we still need to build profit, we still need money. And then we'll have Undertaker. Where is it? Oh, I done lost him. Okay, no, he's already there. Oh, they've already got him set up. Sweet. Okay, but I think I'm going to make this a triple threat. And I'm going to include Rob Van Dam into this, just as a little bonus. Because in order to get up to the main event, he must first go through The Undertaker and JBL, which are the tag team contenders, the belt under that. So, actually, I will keep this a singles match, and I'll put Eddie Guerrero in Chavo's corner, actually, instead of just having him take the week off, so that way it can more organically grow the face turn, with him being in Chavo's. And why is there Triple H there? That is not supposed. That's supposed to be Shelton Benjamin. And that'll help with the face turn, and it might even set up a future tag team rivalry with Chavo and Eddie the Los Guerreros going after the tag team champions. That is, if the tag team champions manage to hold it together against Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro. Alright, so I think I'll insert not Randy Orton, because he's already in it. I think I will insert Rob Van Dam into this match, since this is John Cena versus Randy Orton, is a disrespect rivalry. You don't deserve to be number 1. You don't deserve to be number 1. We'll play it as John Cena and Randy Orton are doing their normal weekly thing, coming out there, and then the GM, which is us, right? We come out there and say, you both say that you deserve to be the next number 1 contender, yada yada yada, but I have a man who's been undefeated since his appearance on Raw, or excuse me, on SmackDown, since being traded from Raw, and I think this man deserves to be the number 1 contender, the next one, every bit as much as either one of you two do. And that man is Rob Van Dam, Mr. Friday Nights. And that's how we'll weave that in for this week, since RVD is a floater. Alright, so I know we have some superstars that aren't featured, but we're just going to go ahead and do this. We'll simulate this week. See, Kane goes 1 up on Chris Masters. Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro pull out the victory over Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin. Gregory Helms picks up an underhanded victory over Chavo Guerrero. So he kind of balances out with his wins and losses there. RVD picks up his 5th win in a row over John Cena and Randy Orton in the triple threat match. That is redonkulous. JBL cheats to pick up a win this week over The Undertaker, and Batista just decimates Triple H in their singles match this week. Getting yet again one up over our new World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, and that's match of the week. We won the fans by 120,000. Wowee. Match of the week. A 4-star match, and we didn't even really have to do anything for that 4-star match. It was just a singles match between the two. It's been 10 long... Oh, Ric Flair, The Rock, they don't have The Rock. It's Ric Flair, Umaga, and Melina, and somebody else, whatever. That's a glitch in the game, but hey. So this was a 4-star match just off the strength of how we've been bolstering the rivalry so far. So that is pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that, I gotta say. That is pretty awesome. Alright, so let's go to our Power 25. Let's see who is in our... What's going on here? Chavo Guerrero, he's barely hanging in there. Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro, they are finally both in the Power 15. So, let's go back, let's count it, see how long it's been from Judgment Day, because that's when our last Tag Team Championship match was. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is week number 6 right here, so we are going to see a Tag Team Championship match. It's going to be a normal Tag Team Championship match. Then it's going to be Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro versus Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin. Just a normal Tag Team Championship match. If Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin win, we'll say it's by dirty circumstances. If they lose, then they get the rematch at the pay-per-view. So the rivalry can continue either way because the heels are the champions. So we can kayfabe it that way, and I like it like that. Then we've got... Where is he? Kane versus Chris Masters. Once again, Kane is one up on Chris Masters. So we're going to see if Chris Masters can once again return the favor this week. We're going to have Chavo Guerrero, a single manager. We're going to have... Actually, we're going to have Edge come out here, and we're going to have Eddie Guerrero fight him. But it won't be in this match. No, it's not going to be in this match. In fact, we're going to have John Cena versus Randy Orton in a table match for the second match. Yeah, okay. So in match 4, we're going to have Edge. We'll have a tag team. Edge and Carlito versus Eddie Guerrero... Oh, excuse me, and Chavo Guerrero. And then we will see our dirty clean turn, our face turn for Eddie Guerrero. Then JBL versus Undertaker. Excuse me. Then we'll once again feature Batista and Triple H. In fact, we'll make it a triple threat. And we'll throw Rob Van Dam in there since he has been on fire. We'll put RVD in there. If he wins, then he can be the legitimate next #1 contender after the Batista Triple H rivalry ends. I know Batista's face, so if he wins the title back from Triple H, it's going to be a little difficult to navigate that one, but we'll see how that goes when we get there. Alright, so we're not going to have an advertising promo for this card, which is probably a little not so good, but we need this for the storylines, so I'm willing to pay the price. I think our contracts will hold, so yes, simulate. Chris Masters returns the favor on Kane, so they are tied at 2-2. That is really starting to heat up right there. That is beautiful. Then Randy Orton picks up the win over John Cena in the tables match. RKO's him through it. That is very reminiscent. I feel like that's happened actually before. in a match. I think it probably has. In all the times they fought, I wouldn't be surprised. Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin, by dirty means, retain their tag team championships. So Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro are going to have to scratch and claw to ensure that they get that one last tag team championship match at the pay-per-view. After that, it's done for Matt Hardy and Johnny Nitro. If they can't pull out the victory at the pay-per-view, they're moving on. Edge and Carlito pick up the win over Eddie Guerrero and Chavo. That's kind of surprising. I wasn't actually expecting that to happen, especially with Eddie's face turn. I guess we could say Eddie Guerrero tried to cheat and got caught and got them disqualified, and that's what prompted his face turn after Chavo had been telling him for weeks that the fans are behind you, I'm behind you, you don't need these dirty tactics to keep going this way. You won that contract all on your own, you didn't need those tactics to do it, so you need to change these things around. JBL picks up another win over The Undertaker. He's really keeping the dead man down, isn't he? We'll see who comes up the United States champion come the Great American Bash, though. I have a feeling that The Undertaker's not going to take this completely lying down. And then Triple H picks up the win in the triple threat. We will say he pinned Rob Van Dam to decide the win. That way it protects Batista. It puts Rob Van Dam down just a little bit, so that way we can continue our Batista Triple H one-on-one. And it makes Triple H look good, considering he lost to Batista last week. So I can live with that outcome. That's good for everybody. I mean, it kind of hurts the RVD push, but I have a feeling that at SummerSlam, which is the first joint pay-per-view, that he's going to see a title match anyway. Because he went 5-0 before this. So I have a feeling that he's going to see a title match. Oh, look at this. SmackDown wins the fans again. 100,000 of them fans. So, Raw had a 2-star rating. They're not doing so hot right now, I guess because their rivalries haven't really heated up from the pay-per-views. Kurt Angle is on a 5-match loss streak. That's hard to digest. It kind of reminds me of when he was at Raw and took all those losses and then came to SmackDown and became World Heavyweight Champion. And had one hell of a match, or a segment of matches, should I say, with The Undertaker. Those were some great matches, man. They really sold that did he get him, did he not get him, did he kick out narrative. That was some really good stuff. RVD takes the hard fall to 7th, which is, I guess, decent. He was at 3rd, but, I mean, he's still floating around where he could be in the top 5. Eddie Guerrero moves up a spot, even though he lost. So I guess the face turn was good for Eddie. So that's always good news. They're sitting at a solid 10th. Johnny Nitro is floating by himself again, so Matt Hardy is really needing some push here. Check our emails. We don't have any emails. Let's check our rosters. Cena is unsatisfied. He wants a title shot. And so does Booker T. Booker T says, I want a title shot too. Well, I don't really know what to tell you guys, because you haven't really done anything to earn any title shots. I hate to tell you. So, excuse me. So I really don't know what to tell them, because they have not earned any title shots whatsoever. I had to get a sip of my Mountain Dew. That's the only bad part about morale on this game, is that it's kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know that John Cena and Randy Orton and those guys, they would stay in the story, and they know that somewhere down the line, like with SummerSlam coming up, for instance, that they're going to get an opportunity at a title most likely, but they can't wait the 2 weeks after the Great American Bash to be thrown into a random United States Championship match. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. Alright, so John Cena and Booker T saying, hey, I want a championship match. So, United States Championship. What we'll do is we'll do an advertising promo here, and we'll do a rivalry in place of a match. You know what? We won't do a rivalry in place of a match. We'll do a Fatal 4-Way for the United States Championship. And it'll be, I guess, a normal Fatal 4-Way. Undertaker. Oh, JBL's got to come out. JBL, my champion always comes out last. So, Undertaker. And then it was, what, Randy Orton. Booker T doesn't need to be in this match. John Cena. So that's our United States Championship match right there, since John Cena wants to be Crybaby. He doesn't even have the one-up on Randy Orton. But if John Cena or Randy Orton wins the United States Championship, at least that'll bolster their rivalry a little bit more, because honestly, as a true Blue fan, I myself, just John Cena and Randy Orton by itself doesn't do anything for me, so throwing in that United States gold might make it a little enriched. And we've got Batista versus Triple H in a normal singles match. And then we'll have Rob Van Dam versus Edge. Or actually, we'll have Eddie Guerrero versus Edge, and we'll give RVD the night off. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then we'll have a single, no manager, and it'll be Matt Hardy versus Shelton Benjamin with Gregory Helms in his corner and Johnny Nitro in his corner. Hopefully Matt Hardy picks up the win here. We'll see. We'll do an advertising promo because we need cash. Actually, I'm not going to do I'm going to do a title hype for the United States Championship, so that way the crowd can get pumped leading into our main event, and a one hell of a main event it's going to be. Then right here, we're obviously going to have to do a singles with manager, and it's going to be, where is he? Chavo, and Eddie Guerrero is going to be in his corner. Gregory Helms with Shelton Benjamin. So that way Gregory Helms and Chavo Guerrero can do their little thing. In fact, I'm going to make it a Cruiserweight Championship match. Yeah, it's going to be a Cruiserweight Championship match. Hopefully Chavo Guerrero picks up the win. You know what? Honestly, I have to protect the Cruiserweight Championship till the pay-per-view. I can't do it. Chavo doesn't really have any clout over Gregory Helms, other than the fact that Gregory Helms has consistently screwed Chavo. So he kind of needs a win here. So I'm going to have to... And then here, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, since this is Carlito's hometown, we're going to add a little spice to this match. It's going to be Kane and Carlito in a triple threat. Chris Masters, Kane, and Carlito in a triple threat. Since it's Carlito's hometown, the Caribbean and Chris Masters and Kane are 2-2. So we're kind of throw a little bit more on this. Actually, 1, 2, 5, 6. You know what? I will take Carlito out of this match, and I will just make this a first blood match. Yeah. And that way it can be a best out of 7 series, and the matches will just get more grueling from here. And I'll feature Carlito on Heat, since I don't really have any space for him on the main show. And I'll let him fight Booker T, so that way they both get some showing in. Alright, our match card. We'll go ahead and simulate. Carlito picks up the... Oh, excuse me, it's Velocity, it's not even Heat. Carlito picks up the win on Velocity. Carlito picks up the win on Velocity. I had to zoom in. I don't know how long it's been like that, guys. I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Kane picks up the win over Chris Masters, so Kane is again 1 up on Chris Masters. Chavo Guerrero picks up the win over Gregory Helms. That is what I'm talking about right there, guys and gals. Chavo needed that victory. It was a clutch moment, and he has now earned himself a guaranteed shot at Gregory Helms at the Great American Bash for that Cruiserweight Championship. So that is definitely happening. Matt Hardy picks up the win over Shelton Benjamin in the singles with managers match. So the heels are on the losing end so far, with the exception of Kane. The faces in all of our major rivalries so far are on fire. Chavo putting the whooping on Gregory Helms this week. Matt Hardy getting Shelton Benjamin. So that's good, and it doesn't hurt Shelton Benjamin or Gregory Helms because they're both champions. Gregory Helms, a dual crown champion, the only one, so that's good. Edge picks up the win over Eddie Guerrero. That's not really what I was expecting. They might go have a little back and forth there for a minute, I'm not sure. Triple H picks up a win over Batista. Triple H, the cerebral assassin, is on fire. And then JBL retains his United States Championship in the Fatal 4-Way. Alright, so Chris Benoit ran in on us. Raw gets the fans this week, 40,000. John Cena's on a losing streak. JBL still champion. Rey Mysterio, blah, blah, blah. Email, no emails. Let's check our rivalries. They're still holding strong. Our reports, our Power 25. Chavo Guerrero is up in there. They're both up in there. Alright, so that's good. Alright, so let's hurry up and just make this right here. Triple H, Batista. Match 5 is just going to be JBL and The Undertaker. We're going to have an advertising promo, a pay-per-view hype, since the pay-per-view hype is this Sunday. Then we're going to have a tag team match between Johnny Nitro and Matt Hardy. Oh, excuse me, Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin. Then we're going to have Randy Orton versus John Cena in normal match capacity. Then we're going to have singles with manager, and it's going to be Chavo, Gregory Helms, Shelton Benjamin, and Eddie Guerrero. And that will be how we feature Eddie Guerrero this week. And then we've got Kane and Chris Masters. Alright, let's do it up. Confirm match card. Simulate. Kane picks up the victory, so he's 2 up on Chris Masters now. So we don't have to see that anymore. Kane is definite. Gregory Helms cheats Chavo this week to pick up the momentum going into the pay-per-view. Hopefully that doesn't knock him out of the Power 15. Randy Orton picks up another victory over John Cena. Gregory Helms and Shelton Benjamin pick up a tag team victory. They're on fire this week. Undertaker picks up the win over JBL, much needed. And Triple H beats Batista again. Craziness, ladies and gentlemen, craziness. Okay, so the next episode will be the Great American Bash. I am J-Rick, and this has been The Nerd House. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Goodbye and good night. Bang!